Hey guys, what's up? Serena here from thriftdiving.com, and today we are talking about a common problem, at least I thought that it was a problem, that I've got every single year. And if you are a homeowner or you live in a neighborhood with a lot of trees, you probably are facing this every single fall as well. We are talking about leaves. What do you do with this stuff and why do you want it in your yard? So today we're teaming up with Erin Shannon. She is the lead master gardener with the Impatient Gardener, and this is a Troy-Built sponsored fence talk project. Remember, back in the spring we did the shady side yard makeover, which was amazing, and it was a great solution for those of you who are looking to do gardens in shady spots. Well, now we're trying to bring another solution to you so that every year this doesn't feel like such a headache and you actually start looking forward to getting leaves. So I've got some questions for Erin. Erin, I want to know, what is the best way to clean these leaves up? And is there a particular way that we should be storing this like every single year? And what is the actual benefit of these leaves? So in my mind, I'm thinking I'm going to pack them up and send them away with the county every single week, which is what we typically do. But I think I should be doing something more with this. So what should I be doing with this, Erin? And I'm looking forward to hearing your solutions, because right now, this still just looks like a headache to me. So take it away, Erin.
These are not a problem. This is gold. I think you already know that, Serena. These leaves are the best thing to happen to a gardener, or frankly, a homeowner. So let me talk to you about all the things you can be doing with these leaves, because you do want to clean them up. You don't want them laying around on your driveway or laying around on your lawn. So what do we do with these leaves? And Serena, I know you have a ton of leaves. I've seen pictures of your yard, so I know it's like the whole neighborhood's leaves kind of end up in your yard, which actually is a great problem to have. So first things first, don't send your leaves away to be composted at the city, because you can do so much with these leaves and it's really easy to do something with them. So the first thing you want to do is get them off, blow them off your driveway and off your hard surfaces, because you don't want those laying there. That's just a big mess. And then clean them up off your lawn. Now, for me, there's a bunch of ways you can do that, but one of the easiest ways is to just run your lawnmower over them and bag them. So we've got several tools around here that we use at this time of year. So one of them is just our riding mower with the bagger attachment on it. And we just run around and that mulches up the leaves and it puts them into that bagger attachment, and then we can put it wherever we want that. We also have a walk behind mower with a bagger attachment, and sometimes we use that if we would like to chop them up a little bit finer. And what we can do then is you can even blow your leaves onto like your driveway or something, and then just run your lawnmower over them a bunch of times. That will chop them up really fine. And then you can just essentially sweep them up if you want to, or if you have a bagger attachment at some point, you can suck them up then too. Another way to pick up your leaves is with a leaf vac. Now these are really cool because you can actually use an extension kind of sucker thing to go around and suck up leaves. In places where it might be hard to, say, run a lawnmower over it or something, or is hard to blow things around, or maybe you don't want to use a blower for some reason. So you can use one of those, and then the nice thing with that is that then that chops it up, and then those bag those as well. So you get all the things at once. And then the last thing you can do is you can put them through a chipper shredder, which will also chip up wood as well, but it works really well for leaves so long as they're dry. If they're not dry, it can be kind of a mess, but as long as you're dealing with dry leaves, you put them in there, they turn to the tiniest, finest little stuff. Now, why are we worried about chopping up leaves? Well, basically, it's pretty simple. The smaller the leaf, the quicker it breaks. So you don't have to chop up your leaves. Whole leaves work great too. Most leaves break down pretty good no matter what, whether they've been shredded or you leave them whole. So all of these things, if you want to skip that shredding up step, you can just know that you're just adding time onto the decomposition process. Okay, so now you've got your leaves. So what do you want to do with them? Number one, you can use it as a mulch in your garden. Just put them in there, maybe 3 or 4 inches thick. Pull them away from the base of your trees and shrubs. You don't want it right touching up right against the trunk of a tree or shrub or something, and around your plants. Just kind of pull them away a little bit. But that's your mulch for the year, probably. I mean, that mulch will break, those leaves will break down, and you probably won't have to add additional mulch next year. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that, especially in like a case like yours, Serena, because I noticed that in spring when you built your new garden with Emily Murphy's help from Pass the Pistol, I noticed that you have some clay soil going on there. So the best thing about leaves is that they dramatically help improve clay soil when applied over time. So leaves don't have a lot of nutritional value for soil, but what they do have is a great ability to add organic matter to your soil, which helps the texture of your soil tremendously. So it will help you retain moisture in that soil, but it will loosen that compaction that can come with clay soil. And it, of course, still acts as a mulch. Now, you don't have to go mixing that in. Just lay that on top. That mulch will do that benefit of helping your clay soil. If you do that every single year, in a few years, you will have amazing soil in there. So the second thing you can do is you can create leaf mold. Now, making leaf mold is about the easiest thing you'll ever do because it takes like a little bit of time and then you just wait. So the easiest way to make leaf mold, which is a terrible name for a really amazing substance that you end up with, is just create a big bin. I've done this with just chicken wire, with stakes holding it up, but you could use any sort of like fencing type of situation, and then you just load that thing up with leaves. Now, again, chopped leaves will decompose faster than whole leaves, but either one works. If you really want to, go for it, if you want to water in between layers, that's good because you need moisture to help those leaves break down. And you just keep layering them on, wetting them down. You can wait till the end to water them if you want. It's just really hard to get that water evenly distributed in there. And that's it. The goal is to keep them moist though, because moisture will help those leaves break down faster. You can also do this in like big plastic garbage bags, actually. You just fill up like a big contractor's garbage bag and poke some holes in it and put essentially wet leaves in it and just set it aside and come back in like a year, maybe more. To me, that's just adding more plastic into the whole thing, but you can absolutely do it that way. You just stick these somewhere where you can forget about them for a while. You don't have to worry about them. What you end up with when you make leaf mold is this light, fluffy, black goodness. It's amazing. And then as that breaks down, you can use that again as a mulch, but you can work that into your soil. So rather than just laying that on top of soil, if you want to, you can actually dig that into your soil to incorporate that into your soil if you choose to do that. So that will help that whole texture of your soil, again, add more organic matter. You can also, if you want to, put it through a sieve, just to make sure that you get all the big parts out. You can add that to your potting mix when you're planting up your containers. You get more organic matter in there, you get great drainage. It's good stuff. And the third thing you can do with leaves is add them to your compost bin, which is what I do the most of. Add them to your compost bin, put in your greens, and it's your brown function in your compost bin. Composting, in its simplest explanation, is just taking nitrogen-rich materials and mixing it with carbon-rich materials, which helps them break down faster, and you get this great soil amendment. Now, compost does have nutrients in it, so there's something to be said for that, and that's how it's a little bit different from leaf mold. Either are great. So that's leaves in a nutshell. A lot of times the main benefit of chopping up leaves is just to compress them a little bit, so that if you're dealing with a lot of leaves, it's not a problem to put them in a big bin. You can actually fit them all in there.
Thank you so much, Erin. I actually learned a lot of things about leaves, and all this time I've been thinking that our home was just cursed, but according to you, we're actually pretty blessed. So we're gonna go ahead and do some more cleanup, and again, this was something that I always dreaded, but I think with the right tools and knowing that this is something that's good for the yard and garden, I'm not gonna resent it as much as I did. Also, I wanna point out to you guys that underneath here, I tend to get a lot of leaves trapped under the shrubs, and it makes for a nightmare trying to get them out. Even when you blow them, they don't come out very well. So with this leaf blower, we're gonna try to use it as the vacuum attachment as well and suck those leaves out, because we have gold under here, sits Erin. Erin, we're gonna get these leaves out, and we're gonna maximize all of this for the yard and the garden. Okay, so now that we have some of these leaves mulched, instead of putting them on the corner like I typically do, we're gonna go ahead and just dump them here in this garden. This is a garden that I did back in the spring. If you remember, I painted this fence, put in some peppers and some other things, but I never mulched and I never did anything to amend the soil. So we're gonna go ahead and dump these in here, and hopefully that clay soil that's in here is gonna be amended over time. So we are done with this yard cleanup, but the fun doesn't stop there, because over on Erin's channel, and I left a comment down below with the link, you can find 2 more questions that people always ask around this time. How do we get rid of weeds and prevent them from coming back in the spring? My problem for sure. So I know you probably face that as well. And also, how do you protect perennials in the fall? Is there something that you should be doing with them now to make sure that they come back in the spring? Erin's got answers for you. So click down below for that link and come back again, because we're gonna give you a follow-up to how this all turned out for me. Remember, I've been dumping these leaves over in the garden. I really think it's gonna help. And Erin, thank you so much. So be sure to check out Erin's video. Again, this is sponsored by Troy-Bilt, bringing you fence talks to help solve common outdoor problems for you in the fall. And we will see you next project.